Hello there. A bit short of breath today, so I'm not sure how long I'll be able to stream. I'm probably going to aim for 2 o'clock, 2 hours. What was that quick save there for? The 30th, that's a week ago, at 134. Okay, that's an old one that I did. My classmates looked at me with surprise. I stood at the front of the room and banged on the blackboard. I needed to get their attention. You can listen while you eat. I want to talk about our classmate, Satoko Hojo. Everyone went quiet as soon as I brought up her name. They all knew how bad of a situation Satoko was in. Remembering what happened to her last year, they understood how critical it was that she get help as soon as possible. Everyone was thinking they wanted to save Satoko if they could. But they hadn't done anything because they didn't know what they alone could do. I don't think there's need for me to explain what's going on with her. As you all know, Satoko has been absent for 3 days in a row. It's been 3 days since she got kidnapped by her uncle. He called the school and told them that she still has a cold, but I don't believe that. She hasn't even visited the clinic in these past 3 days. My classmates, think about this logically for a moment. If she really that sick, why would he not take her to the clinic for 3 whole days? It's hard to believe that she's been sick for that long, yeah. She might have the flu. But if that's the case, she should be seeing a doctor. The whole class agreed that it was a bit strange. Everyone had been thinking the same thing inside their hearts. However, no one had really come forward and talked about it. This was a good start. Just think about it. Satoko is the healthiest girl in this village. She won't even get sick after eating food that's past the expiry date? But now she somehow got sick all of a sudden and missed school for 3 days? That's hard to believe, isn't it? The answer is simple. Her uncle is forcing her to stay home. We've reported this case to the Child Consultation Center. However, they're putting it on hold. We went there, but all they told us was that they can't talk about it due to privacy reasons. What do you guys think about all this? I think it's wrong. We all know how her aunt and uncle were treating her last year. Besides, Satoko-chan was living happily with Rika-chan. It's wrong for him to force her to move out of there and keep her away from us. The sight of Rena letting her emotions speak for her, when she was normally so quiet, demonstrated most of all just how dire the situation was. Rena brought an intensity to this that I couldn't, since I often yelled and shouted about things. Are we just going to leave things as they are? Satoko is our friend. She's our classmate. We spent time together in this small classroom, and we're like family to each other. We learned together, we played together, we ate together, and we fought each other at times. We spent so much time together that our relationship is as tight as a family's. Should we neglect someone who's that precious to us? Raise your hand if you want to neglect her. I'm sure none of you want to do that. No way. We must help Satoko. Mutter, 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 mutter. The class was filled with commotion, which is exactly what I was looking for. The louder I talked, the louder my classmates got. They were getting all fired up. The more I let my true colors show, the greater everyone's emotions became as well. Our club is already making its move. We're trying to figure out how we can save her. Did you know that, Tomoyo-kun? No, that I did not. Let me tell you what our plan is. Don't worry, it's not something illegal. We're trying to fight, but without breaking the rules. In truth, nothing is more effective in society than taking an orthodox stand. Playing underhanded and striking by surprise may seem more effective, but that's as insignificant as a jack in the box. A real orthodox attack can punch through anything. Yeah, I've heard that even in karate, a straightforward punch can deliver the greatest impact. When you think about the physics of it, it's only natural a straightforward, simple, head-on strike would hold the most power. We're already doing the right thing by saving Satoko. Therefore, there's no need for us to do anything underhanded to accomplish that. We need to fight openly. So, who? Who are we fighting against? That's a good question, Okamura-kun. This is a fight, true. However, we're not going to be violent with anyone. We're following the rules. This is the honest way to conduct a battle. Before we go any further, let me get back to just how we're going to save Satoko. This is the current situation. Satsuko is there. Her uncle is locking her up inside the house. Apparently, she had no obvious injuries as of yesterday, but we don't know for sure if she hasn't gotten hurt since then. Besides, preventing her from going to school is already child abuse. Check this out. This is a brochure that Mion brought from the Child Consultation Center. It's written clearly in here. Keeping a child away from school is abuse. On top of that, her uncle left Satsuko on her own for a year. That's considered neglect. Neglect also counts as abuse. However, the Child Consultation Center didn't even take that into consideration. They ignored the fact that he neglected her for 1 year, and they believe that she hasn't come to school because she's sick. They conclude that Satsuko is not being abused because she had no obvious injuries at that point. What do all of you think? Maibara-san, this is a blatant case of child abuse. Just because she doesn't have any injuries doesn't prove that she's not getting abused. I agree with him. How come they can't see it? It's so obvious. From what Mion's heard from inside their office, 2 or 3 days isn't enough time to determine if abuse is taking place or not. Apparently, they can only recognize it as abuse after it has continued over several months or several years. She says they have to evaluate the situation very carefully. So what do you all think about that? Do you think keeping Satsuko in that house for several months is a good idea? No way! No way! Exactly. Absolutely no way. The Child Consultation Center has no idea how much danger Satsuko is facing right now. They don't know how terrible it was for her last year. That's why they're just putting her case on hold. What would you do, Tomita-kun? Sir, I think the issue here is that the Child Consultation Center isn't grasping the urgency of her situation. I think someone needs to go there and explain to them how serious this is. Right. It might be routine for them to wait and see what happens. But in Satsuko-chan's case, that's not applicable. Her uncle was abusing her last year too. He was taking out his stress on her. After the death of her aunt, he left Satsuko-chan all alone and disappeared somewhere for an entire year. You know what? We even have information that he disappeared because he tried to move in with his lover in Okonomiya. What was Satsuko doing while he left her? She was fortunate because Rika-chan offered her a place to stay. But what if Rika-chan wasn't there for her? She'd have had no choice but to try and survive on her own. Furthermore, we also know that he came back to Hinamizuwa because his lover disappeared somewhere. In other words, she dumped him. He had no choice but to come back to Hinamizuwa, and he forced Satsuko to live with him again. Her neighbors have seen her doing the laundry too. The reason he took Satsuko with him is clear. He took her so she could work as his slave. How could anyone do something like that? Is there anyone in this classroom that would call such a rotten person a parent after he spent a full year playing around with his mistress, only to come waltzing back and throwing his weight around? No. No way. Right. He's not her guardian. But the Child Consultation Center still calls him that. They claim that they'd have to go through family court in order to take away his parental rights. Who has the right to decide whether he's good enough to be Satsuko's guardian? It shouldn't be the court. It should be decided based on common sense. I can say this clearly. He is not Satsuko's guardian. We need to make that clear to the Child Consultation Center. The Child Consultation Center is the only organization that can help Satsuko before she's physically abused. The police won't move until it develops into a criminal case. But do you think that we're going to wait until Satsuko becomes a victim? We can't just sit around until that happens. That's why we're going to make our move now. We hit the Okonomiya Child Consultation Center yesterday. This is what they wrote down after we did. 5 classmates of Satsuko Hojo made a visitation to request her protection. Do you know what that means? 5 classmates are not enough. We need your help. We need all of you. This is your chance to do something meaningful in your life. If you don't help us, you're not our friends. All you have to do is support me. I will do all the talking, and our club members are going to do all the fighting. We just want you guys to support us. If that's not enough, feel free to join the fight. Let them know the spirit of the Hinamizuwa Branch School. Maibara-kun, what's going on? Chie-sensei looked into the classroom, the commotion having attracted her attention. As soon as she tried to step inside the class, someone behind her stopped her. Principal. Miss Chie, I would like to have some tea. Would you make me a cup, please? It was a clear display of his intent not to disrupt Keiichi's speech. Are you sure? There are lots of young children in the class. If they all go to the Child Consultation Center, how can we explain it to their parents? Chie. Furude-san, what is going on here? Everyone is trying so hard for Satoko's sake. I can't do anything, so I need their help. But I can at least try to stop you from stopping them. Chie had never seen Rika staring at her with an expression like that. She was surprised to see Rika looking so determined. Why would you want to stop them? Principal, this is splendid, isn't it? They should do what they can. I will take responsibility for whatever happens. The principal pounded his own chest. Chie-sensei couldn't object any longer. I understand. Please make sure that no one gets hurt. You all must follow the rules and mind your manners. You have to promise me that. Thank you very much. I'm proud of you, Miss Chie. My students are teaching me many lessons. Yes, I've made my decision. My students are like my own children. And what mother wouldn't protect her own children? Alright, head back out as soon as you get home today, and meet us at the Okonomiya Library. The child consultation is on the first floor. Yeah! Wait! Chie-sensei. Sensei, are you going to stop us? Certainly not. I truly understand your passion. I'm going to support you, as long as you follow the rules. Yeah! I'm coming with you to make sure you behave yourselves. Is that okay? Yeah! Alright, alright. Here we go, here we go. We're all getting fired up. We headed for the library as soon as we got back home from school. I'd expected that few kids wouldn't show up, but surprisingly, everyone came along. I could tell just how driven they were. It was also encouraging to have Chie-sensei there with us. I had to admit that I had been feeling a bit guilty for dragging everyone to the consultation center. But as long as Chie-sensei was with us, I didn't need to feel that guilt. Maibara-san, please come to the counter. Hello, I'm Maibara. How can we help you today? As I wrote on the registration form, we came to tell you about the danger Satoko Hojo is in. How many of you are here today? And how are you all related to her? We're Satoko's classmates, and her teacher. There are 27 of us. Well, our consultation room is not very large. Can we just ask just a few people to come inside as representatives? Then shouldn't you prepare a bigger room, like a meeting room? I believe you should be arranging a room for us, not asking us to adjust to yours. Please, just give us a moment. The receptionist seemed troubled. She told us to head back to our seats, and started to make a phone call to someone. Good job, Ran-san. I consider myself a pro. Even I thought that threat was perfectly timed. How? Are you trying to compliment me? Ran is good at reading other people's minds. Sometimes she can use that talent against the enemy to intimidate them. A strange atmosphere permeated the office. It must have been the first time a whole class had visited on the behalf of one child. It was as though we were here for a school trip. Well, hello. I'm Hariyama, the manager of this center. Please, take your seat. I'm sorry for bringing the whole class to your office. I'm Chie, from the Hinamizawa Branch School. We're here to talk with you today. They were treating us so differently, now that we had 5 times as many kids, plus 1 adult. Instead of that small consultation room, they took us to a big meeting hall. On top of that, the manager was there, alongside the lady from yesterday. I will let Maibara-kun do the talking. Chie-sensei sat down at the far end of the table. She was just here to look after us. Besides, like I'd said, we were the ones who were going to fight. It was fine if Chie-sensei just stayed there and watched us quietly. I'm Keiichi Maibara. Nice to meet you. Well, I've heard that yesterday you visited us with 5 of your friends to present your valuable thoughts to us on Satoko Hojo-san's case. Are you here on a different matter today? I hadn't expected that they would start the conversation. What were they thinking? I don't like how ambiguous this feels. It feels like they're debating how to move. unsure if the fault lies with us or not. Kei-chan, you should clearly tell them why we came here, and let them know that they're in the wrong. My friends were analyzing the situation behind me. It felt like I was having a meeting with the president of a foreign country. Actually, that wasn't far from the truth. I was sort of the prime minister. I was representing the whole class. I needed to be polite, but stern. Alright, let's attack from this angle then. Kei-chan, tell them something like this. Got it? Mion gave me her attack plan. This really is how Mion operates best. If she's weak on defense, then I can bear the brunt with impudence, while Mion issues perfect orders from behind. I took my friend's analysis and advice in consideration, and calmly opened my mouth. No, first let me confirm something with you. We've come here today to make sure what we came to convey yesterday was properly conveyed to you. So I apologize if this seems rude, but could you please tell us how much you grasped from our conversation yesterday? It's alright if that just means reading a memo aloud. They became quiet for a second. It might have only been a short time, but the silence felt much longer than that. I could see the manager's expression turning serious. He thought was just dealing with the social studies class, but suddenly his response changed to that of dealing with a protest group of local citizens. From my understanding, we've acknowledged that you came to appeal that Satogo Hojo-san is in an extreme situation, meriting temporary protection from our agency, and that we should expedite our response. I believe that our staff at the time explained that we are not taking her situation lightly, and are currently discussing the appropriate measures. So taking into consideration the fact that Satogo Hojo was suffering abuse from her uncle at this time last year, you still believe an urgent response is unnecessary? Well, our organization has no confirmed records that Teppei Hojo-san was administering abuse at this time last year. Rabble, 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 rabble. What? What the hell were you guys doing last year? She was being abused by both her aunt and uncle. Please don't tell us that you are only aware about the abuse from her aunt. Normally, we don't talk about such private affairs, but under these special circumstances, I think it's acceptable to say. We are aware that there was some trouble between Satoko-san and her aunt, Tamae-san. However, we have no record showing that her uncle was also involved in the abuse. In fact, when we interviewed her neighbors, several mentioned Tamae-san's slight hysteric tendencies, but none ever brought up the name of her uncle, Teppei-san. It's almost like he threatens with violence. We believe that simply because his abuse didn't stand out under the shadow of her aunt's especially vicious nature. We do not believe that constitutes evidence that her uncle was not abusing her as well. I see. So you claim there was a likelihood that Teppei-san also inflicted abuse on the child at this time last year. It's almost like if you're just standing by, you are abusing them. The manager and the staff beside him jotted that down with a pen, as if to show that was their first time hearing the information. This is why we came here today. We believe the Child Consultation Center doesn't have a proper understanding of her present situation. We believe you should be able to see how urgent this case is once you fully understand it. I see. We're taking that into consideration. Please allow us to do a more thorough investigation into Teppei-san. We mentioned this yesterday as well, but her uncle had abandoned his responsibilities as guardian for over a year. We received no response on this information yesterday, but what is your organization's opinion on this matter? Of course, our office is aware that Teppei-san was absent from his residence for a year, and we have interviewed him on that matter. So what was his excuse? I mean, you can't talk about it for privacy reasons, but if it convinced all of you, it must have justified leaving her alone for a whole year, right? If you believe living with his mistress in Okunomiya is sufficient reason for abandoning his responsibilities for a full year, then we would like to receive that in writing. No, is that what happened? He explained to us that he was forced to work away from home in order to raise Satoko-san, so this is our first time hearing that. What the hell? They just believed that crap? If it's your first time hearing that, then you should also know Satoko has been absent from school 3 days in a row now. While he contacted the school yesterday to say she had a cold, the only hospital in the village, the Irie Clinic, has no records of her being examined. What do you believe the proper response is for a guardian who refuses to take a child to the hospital when she's been bedridden with illness for 3 days in a row? Well, we confirmed that she was absent one day, but 3 days in a row is news to us as well. However, our social worker met directly with Satoko-san and confirmed that the child in question denies the occurrence of abuse. When we asked if she wished to continue living with Teppei-san, she answered in the affirmative. So there's no abuse as long as she says so? That's one of the more difficult aspects. Whether the child herself feels she is suffering abuse or not is a very important factor. It's almost like people get PTSD and feel like it is their fault that they're suffering abuse, and it's not abuse because it's their fault. It's much like the definition of bullying. While the bully may not believe they are bullying, it's bullying if the recipient believes it is. So you can't do anything unless she admits that she's being abused and seeks your help herself? No, that's not quite how it works. Our organization investigates the child's environment, and if we find any problems that might harm their lifestyle, we take appropriate action to protect them. However, we don't believe Satoko-san's case has reached that level of danger at present. No urgency at this point. That was exactly how the Child Consultation Center felt about Satoko's case. Our classmates who had been watching the whole discussion burst into an uproar. How can you say something like that? What makes you believe that she's not in danger? First of all, Satoko-san denies the abuse, and not only that, she has no visible injuries either. Also, she's being provided with shelter, food, and clothes. We can't say that Teppei-san is not taking responsibility as her guardian. Both of them seem to have no complaints about their current living arrangements. We believe that we do need to further discuss Teppei-san's past. But unfortunately, we also believe that you and your friends are overreacting to this situation. Overreacting? Calm down, Keiichi-kun. Let's not take it too personally. Damn it, why are they treating us like this? They think that we're only acting this way based on what happened last year. I see. The consultation center was assuming that this year's cases and last year's cases were two separate issues. On top of that, Satoko was denying the abuse entirely. Teppei-san regrets the fact that he had to leave Satoko-san alone because of having to work for her sake. He promised that he would stay with her from now on, and raise her lovingly. Bang. I heard a loud noise. Someone had just pounded the table. Everyone, including the manager, was startled. I figured it must have been Shion, but... It was Rena. Whoa, her face had turned as furious as a demon's. It's best for a child to live with their parents. There are things you can only learn from the love of your family. We've heard that Satoko-san was living with another minor for the past year, and has not been living under any adult. This could greatly harm her future, as she is a sensitive, growing child. I'm sure that in your friendship with her, you all believe she may be happiest that way, but could you please give Satoko-san and Teppei-san the opportunity to restart their new life as uncle and niece, and watch over them kindly? Weren't you listening to any of the things we said? You're saying that you're not going to help her unless Satoko asks for your help? How is she supposed to seek help if she's being locked inside her house? She can't even go outside or make a phone call. How can she seek help? We came here in her stead because she can't be here herself. But you're not even willing to listen to us. That's not what we're trying to say. We'll remember that over 20 of our classmates visited to talk about Satoko-san's case. Yes, over 20. We'll take what happened today in consideration when we make further decisions about her case. When are you going to make the decision? Can you guarantee us that Satoko-chan won't get hurt before that decision is made? If something happens to her, will you take responsibility? If she gets even a single bruise on her body, you're in huge trouble. Shion-san, that's enough. Please, tell us when you will make that decision. That's right. How long is it going to take you? Like I said, we need to take the matter seriously and make a careful decision. In order to do so, we will continue to meet with the two of them and investigate so that her and her father, I mean her uncle, can have a better relationship. Please wait and see what happens for a while. We ask you to do so for her sake. So that's your response. You're saying that it is urgent, even though we came here isn't urgent, even though we came here to tell you that it is. I was starting to get lost in what they were trying to say, but Rena's words made me realize everything. We came here to tell them that they need to protect her right away. But they clearly told us that they didn't see any reason to do so. We understand that there may be reason for urgency. We will take your opinion into consideration and make our decision. I hope that will satisfy you. At first glance, it sounded like they were speaking humbly, but our insistence of the urgency to Satoko's situation was spinning their wheels. They had no intention of meeting us halfway. Right, they are officials. Plus, they have authority that can change the life of an individual like Satoko. Considering that, being a little overcautious and carefully deliberating matters wasn't the wrong response for them, and I would have understood that if this wasn't so personal. But in reality, Satoko had no time to spare. We could see that, because we understood everything. We knew how Satoko would reject me after I rubbed her head, because of the horrible abuse she got from her uncle. That nightmare would come true in just a few days. In that nightmare, I knew that I should save her, but I just wasted my time. I wasn't going to make the same mistake. I had to make a move immediately. Maibara-kun, did you say everything that you wanted to? Yes. That's it for today. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. Everyone, please bow to them. Class President, will you take the lead? Thank you very much. No, thank you for your valuable opinions. Over 20. Thank you, everyone. Be careful on your way home. We all came back to Hinamizawa together, and it was time for us to part. As the class president, Mion gave everyone the notice we were dismissed. However, everyone stuck around to talk about what happened today. We came back to Hinamizawa on our bikes, so we didn't really get to talk with each other. Now that we'd gotten off of them, we finally got to say what we wanted. This is the first time that everyone in the class has gotten together and fought for someone like this. It reminds me of the dam conflict. Everyone's feelings are united. That's true. None of these kids participated in the conflict, even though they might remember it from when they were a baby. But what we did today was more polite than what they did in the dam conflict. No one is bleeding, and there are no bombs or riot police. Unity is the best thing about Hinamizawa. That's true. This old man's blood is boiling for the first time in a while. The people in Hinamizawa all got together to fight against the dam project. Everyone working together as a team means a lot to the villagers here. If there's one person coming, 2 should throw rocks at him. If there are 2, 4 should do so. If there are 4, then 8. If there's 1,000, the whole village should stand up and fight. What's that? A figure of speech? It's something that our grandma used to say. She was trying to tell the villagers to band together and fight. When there's one enemy, 2 should fight together. And when there are 1,000, the whole village should fight together. I see. She wanted the villagers to unite and defeat their enemies. It means more than that. Uniting to fight together is one thing, but it also means the whole village should unite and fight for the sake of an individual. Its real meaning is that everyone should share that individual's pain, sympathize with them, and fight for them too. Wow. It's almost like our situation right here. That sounds very similar to what's happening right now. In other words, the battle that we're fighting now represents Hinamizawa as a whole. I see. Everyone supported me not because they were impressed by my speech, but because it's their nature to unite like that. The classmates were all still sticking around and discussing the issues surrounding Satoko. For some of them, this was like a return of the dam conflict, and also a big chance for those who never experienced it. It almost felt like a festival. Most of them thought that we didn't make much progress today. Maibara-san. So their conclusion is that they're not going to save Hojo-san, right? Their answer wasn't that bad, but you're right in the sense that they'll watch her suffer. I live close to him, so I know what kind of guy that uncle is. He's not normal. We've figured out that the people at the Child Consultation Center don't understand anything. But we just can't give up after today either. Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun seemed serious. Would have been better if Chie-sensei actually mentioned how she was, turned around when she was checking on Satsuko. They weren't just supporting me. They wanted to make a move themselves. We're going to have to work hard to save Hojo-san. Yeah, I agree. It's hard to believe that these are the same innocent kids who are always running around the school. I'm really happy to see them so motivated. Of course we are. Satsuko is our friend. We're going to save her. So please lend us your support again. No, Maibara-san. This is our responsibility as her classmates. We're not fighting because you're asking us to. We're doing this because we want to. I'm impressed to hear that from you, Tomita-kun. Shall we go there again tomorrow? I don't think we should take any days off. Consistency is important. I agree with Rena-san. But it's only going to end with the same result if we go there with the same people again. I think today was more effective because we were there with more people. Then shall we go there with even more people tomorrow, shall we? Rena turned back towards everyone as she spoke. We all understood what she was trying to say. Not all children from Hinamizawa go to the Hinamizawa branch school. Around half of them go to the school in Okonomiya. Those children are not our classmates, but they're still our friends from around the neighborhood. Hinamizawa is a small village, after all. They know Satsuko as well as we do, and they also know what's going on with her right now. Rumors spread at the speed of light in Hinamizawa. I can tell that by now. Everyone in the village knows about my embarrassing history of undergoing punishments. I'll talk to Daisuke when I get home. I bet he'd come with us. I'll call my friends when I get back home too. The school in Okonomiya isn't that far from the library. That's a good idea. I'll try and get more people too. This is turning out well. I think we can get at least 10 more people on our side. I'll try reaching out to a few of the old members of the kids club too. I think I can get at least 3 of them to come with us. I'll ask my friends from cram school too. But none of them know about Satsuko or her situation. They're just friends of mine, so it'll only be about 4 people. Do you think it might be difficult to get other adults involved? Well, the people on the town council don't want to have anything to do with the Hojo family. Because of what happened during the dam conflict? How about older people? Can't you get old people on our side, Rika-chan? Older people are bitter towards Satsuko. People who believe in the curse of Oyashiro-sama really think that the Hojo family deserves what they get. So we can only get more children, but no adults. How many of us will there be? Sounds like around 50. At this rate, there are going to be about 17 more children. I don't know if they will all make it, but hopefully there will be more than 40 of us. 40 people. I'm impressed, Keiichi. You think 40 is enough, Rika-chan? What? I grinned and tapped Rika-chan's chest. It's not enough. 40 is not enough to knock out those stubborn people. We need at least 20 more. I'm sure 60 people would intimidate them. But where can we get that much help? You have no idea. My name is Keiichi Maibara. If I say I'm going to accomplish something, I will. Is he going to get the baseball guy? Yeah, Angel Mort. So that's the whole story, Kamada-kun. We're going to launch our 3rd attack tomorrow evening. Will you help us? I don't want to reject your request, Kay. We ate that jumbo parfait together. That was our vow as sworn brothers. I want to help you, Kay. But tomorrow's not a good day. What? Why is that, Kamada? You can't lend a hand to this poor, innocent girl? Where's your pride as a 2-dimensional warrior? A little cat. Oh, it's never beating. Clench those teeth. Oh. Wait a minute, Kei-san. Please listen to me. I would help her if it wasn't tomorrow. Of course I love chested schoolmates, and normally I'd be happy to even lick Satsuko-chan's socks. But I just can't tomorrow. You bastard! Tell me, Kamada, I'll knock at least 3 of your teeth out if you can't make it because of your parents' funeral. I can't come tomorrow because... tomorrow is the dessert fiesta here at Angelmore. What did you say? It's the dessert fiesta, Kei-san. It's the dessert fiesta of Angelmore. It gets bonus points for using the hiragana for fiesta. Hiragana, wow. I actually won an admission ticket. I'm not going to invite anyone but you. Let's go and pig out on those sweet girls. I mean, cakes. Yeah. Go. Yeah. Please, Kei-san. I will help you the day after tomorrow, so please let me go to the fiesta tomorrow. Please, I'm begging you. Keiichi-kun, I think you should let him go for tomorrow. No, I can't. I can't let him go. Kameda, you dared to weigh cakes against a real little girl. You only gain the right to eat cake when you can save the girl. For starters, you don't have any understanding of how good Satsuko is. Listen, Satsuko's charm is that which seems tsum at first glance. But as you set off her flags, she grows dairy. She's the classic tsundere. You should understand the greatest appeal of a tsundere lies in the gap between her tsun and dairy. Normally she's all tsun without an ounce of eroticism. But once you flip her switch, suddenly she's dairy. The gap between her on-off states is her charm. She's just like the first and last half of Higurashi's plot itself. In other words, Satsuko is the true Miss Higurashi. Breaking the fourth wall. On top of that, she has the added spice of the little sister element that's going standard now, as well as being a okay. She's the new generation of heroine with a perfect level of rebellious spirit, making her grand descent in this world overflowing with romantically dependent heroines. You want to know how amazing her advent is? She's incredible as a blonde princess alighting in an open field, but she's not a goddess, so don't go spouting upload, or pass please. If you can't understand her appeal, then why are you? Where's your pride as a 2D warrior? What? Would you dare to say you're moving to fake 3D now with the increases in polygon count? You're a century too early. Our progenitors, from the age when heroines were displayed in 256-bit with 8 colors, they found love in Boei there, evolving their emotions to something. Oh, to an even higher dimension. Jeez, that's actually off the screen. None of that was to escape into the 2D world. It was an evolution of love derived from their love of real woman. The statue of Venus and the Mona Lisa are all the epitome of our progenitors' feelings of Moe. By the way, I think the girl with the fewest pixels was Kei from Draga. Young people nowadays probably can't even tell that she's a girl. Oh, by the way, the Princess of Dragon Buster was also amazing. She was wearing a short skirt and a crown, and she had a scepter. She even changed into a swimsuit and a bunny girl outfit. Am I the only one? Okay. Yes, we 2D warriors search for the truth behind those walls of pixels and polygons, seeking their true form. So how could you say you would choose those pixels and polygons over a real live little girl that exists without those walls between you? That proves you lost sight of your goal and settled for half measures. 2D warriors do not deny the 3D. They're a new generation of 3D warriors who love 3D even more, trying to express that in detail through 2D. Oh, am I the only one who thinks she's the oldest cosplaying heroine in the history of Japanese arcade games? It's amazing that I was able to play those games for only 50 yen. But remember, we found our feelings of Moe in the beautiful girls that lay beyond that 16x16 pixel art. Now I've lost it. Anyway, all I want to say is this. Which console is going to get Resident Evil and Metal Gear? By the way, the new Dare Alive is coming out too, right? Is it true that Zack is made out of the same number of polygons as the female characters? I'm sorry, I was wrong. What was I thinking? What have I done? It's okay, Kaneda. Mistakes are there so you can realize you made them. You just realized your mistake and became a better man. Take my hand. The door to the next millennium is right in front of you. Keiichi-kun and Kameda-kun seem to be having lots of fun. I have no idea what they're talking about. Let's see. Whoop. Alright, I think we... Yeah, I think we got all this stuff now, finally. Digital opportunity not... You may get confused because 2 sounds inferior. That's why Microsoft named their console Xbox 360, because Xbox 2 would sound inferior to PlayStation 3. Wow, is that true? Yeah, check this. This is hilarious. Why was Xbox 360 named that? Oh. To imply the gamer is at the center of the Xbox experience. Alright, let's get back into this. Is it true that Zack is made out of the same number of polygons as the female character's breasts? Anyway, forget. Don't bother, don't bother. I got it, Kay. On my honor as a man, I will help you save that girl. They have dessert fiestas 4 times a year. So what if I miss one of them? It's not a big deal. He seems so down. Me. By the way, Mion, you said that you were going to give me 3 years worth of dessert fiesta admissions as a reward for the auction, right? I'll give you 1 year admission if you help me come into Kun. Let me just check the rest real quick. Anyway, forget about that and buckle down to save the real little girl. Kameda! No thank you, Kay. I'm a man. I'd be ashamed of myself if I was saving this girl because I was getting a reward. Shi-chan, do you think we can do something for him, do you? How about this? I'll remove his name from the blacklist. Blacklist? What's that? Normal customers don't know about this, huh? There are customers that cause trouble in this restaurant sometimes. Whenever they do something wrong, their name gets written on the blacklist. Once their name gets written down enough times, they're no longer allowed to enter the restaurant. Stop it now. I'm an Angel Mort Master. I would never behave so unmannered as to get myself on such a blacklist. You touched a waitress improperly twice, called a waitress just to talk to her, and sold tickets outside of the restaurant. You'll be forbidden from entering after 1 more transgression. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. No way! I can't believe this. That's horrible. If I can't come to Angel Mort, I'll have no reason to live. However, I'm impressed that you're so willing to save Satoko. I'll erase your name from this list as a reward. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hey Michan, does that blacklist really exist? This old man has no idea. Kameda-kun, thank you. Let me know if you can't get a ticket for the next dessert fiesta. I'll invite you. Okay. We reaffirmed our strong friendship. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll bring my baseball team members with me. I should be able to get at least 10 people. It sounds like her uncle is a really crazy guy. Wouldn't it be faster to just kick his ass rather than going to the child consultation center? We can't do that. Otherwise, he'd take revenge on Satoko-chan. I see. Of course, we can't commit murder either. Alright, let's do it the right way. We don't want to get arrested by the police. 10 people is still not enough. Do you think you can get more people from somewhere? You need more people, huh? Let me take care of it. Kameda grinned at me, then suddenly stood up and shouted. Hey you guys, you heard everything, didn't you? For those who have a ticket for tomorrow, I'm not going to force you. But if you're free, give us a hand. Everyone in the restaurant looked at him. There were a lot of people around. The dessert fiesta is tomorrow, so shouldn't today have been just a normal day? You're not wrong. But the people who missed out on tickets for the dessert fiesta are here today. All these guys are regulars. I don't know their names, but we see each other all the time in this restaurant. What did you think about his story, guys? The longer I listen to it, the more upset I get. Isn't that right, my comrades? Locking a real girl up? I want to do that. I can't allow that to continue. I'll punish any guy who can't be nice to a girl. He can do it in his imagination, but it's unacceptable in the real world. Tell us to come with you, Kay. We admire your hunger. The Okonomiya Squadron is prepared to enact a rescue operation. Please, give us the order to attack. This is Operation Satoko. Your mission starts tomorrow evening. Make sure your clock is on time and your will is written. This may be the day you die. All right. I'm sorry, you guys. Thank you for your help. You don't even know her. We can't abandon her just because of a tiny thing like that. Dang, I already finished my first bottle. Besides, we know very much about Princess Satsuko. My fellows and I enjoy indulging in the warm sentiments that fill our hearts when the young lady fails to notice a bit of cream stuck to her chin. Therefore, this is a personal matter for us as well. Alright, you guys. I'm going to rely on you. You need to back me up, okay? Be ready to fight tomorrow evening. Yeah! K! 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 Keiichi-kun is such a popular guy. He's popular with the town council too. He seems to be popular in the most unexpected places. Lots of other people seem to respect him too. Some of the waitresses here are also concerned about Satsuko. They said they want to come and support us when they're off. Wow, I guess we have about 60 people now. We might get even more than that. So, is this the power to defeat fate? That night, I attended a meeting for the Watanagashi Festival Committee. Everyone assembled at the meeting room in the Furude Shrine. I'd seen the building a few times, but I hadn't actually been inside before. There were pictures depicting the history of the dam conflict on the wall. According to Mion, this assembly building had been used as the headquarters of the dam protest back in the day. There was a huge flag that said Onigafuchi Guardians hanging on the wall. People had written messages on it. I had been called to the meeting so I could introduce myself. While I had been chosen to be the host of the auction several days ago, this was my first time actually attending a meeting. There were about 30 committee members in the room, and my dad and I were introduced to them. Since I'm still a minor, I had to bring them along with me. I'd often heard the term parental rights recently because of Satsuko's situation, and because of that, I'd been thinking about the relationship between me and my dad. The Maibara family is a pretty happy one, I think. I'm blessed to have parents like them. Hello, I'm Keiichi Maibara. This is my first time doing something like this, and I'm very nervous. But I'll do my best. Hear, hear. You do your best, young man. Their friendly smiles and applause made me realize again how welcoming people are in this village. I felt pressured as I thought about how big of a responsibility I was going to undertake at the festival. Since I looked so nervous, the leaders of the committee all came up to me and said that I could just act natural and do my thing. Thank you for offering my son such an important position. I'm sorry that I'm unable to participate in council activities due to my job, but I will do what I can to support my son. Clap, 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 clap. My dad must be used to making speeches. Alright then, we'll break up into groups and start the meeting. It's going to last until 8:50 p.m. Please begin your discussions as soon as you can. The festival committee can be broken up in different teams, like a general affairs team, a construction team, a refreshment booth team, and a ceremony team. Each team has separate meetings. My dad and I were told to join the event team. But after all, we joined toward the end without knowing anything, and the festival was next Sunday too. I didn't understand anything they were saying, and I couldn't even express any opinions anyway. Nodding and pretending to participate in the proceedings was the most we could do. Near the end, I finally got the information about the auction I needed. I found out what time I was supposed to be backstage, and other stuff about my job like that. They asked me what I was going to wear, and I stopped short. I thought I could just wear my regular clothes, but they suggested that I should wear something more flashy, since I was the host of the event. But I don't have any clothes like that. How about a suit with a bow tie? That would make you look like a real MC. A bow tie? That's so embarrassing. I want to wear something more casual than that. How's the meeting going, Kei-chan? What you talking about? They're talking about what he's going to wear during the auction. If you don't have anything flashy to wear, I can get you something like that. Really? Oh, I'm sorry I haven't introduced myself yet. I'm Keiichi's father. Dad, I don't trust him to get me proper clothes. I'm sure he won't get me anything for men. A bow tie is fine. I'll just wear that. If I didn't compromise on that, Irie and Mion would try to make me wear something outrageous. She'd also want me to wear women's clothes. You're part of the committee too, huh? Which team are you on? He's on the General Affairs team, where he's in charge of first aid. We always ask for his help, since he's a doctor and all. All I have to do is give band-aids to people who trip and fall. It's an easy job. For the most part, I'm just drinking beer under the main tent. It's nothing compared to your work, Maibara-san. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. I'm going to drink barley tea with him, too. Nippon. You absolutely cannot, Furude-san. Oh, good evening, Maibara-kun. Nice to see you too, Maibara-san. Hello, ma'am. Thank you for being so nice to my son all the time. Maibara-kun, are you ready for the auction? I'm looking forward to seeing your show. It felt weird to see Chie-sensei and the principal outside of school. Rika-chan, you're performing a dance at the festival, right? I heard it's right after my show. I'm looking forward to it. It's a traditional ceremony that she's performing. I'm sure you're nervous about it, huh? How do you feel this year? I'm used to it now, so I'm fine. You only done it once last year, but you're already used to it? I'm impressed. Maibara-san, it's been a while. Oh, Oishi-san, it's nice to see you. Have you been practicing the Tsubame Gaishi? Oh yeah, that's where they met. We should play together. You won't get better unless you play every day, you know? You know how to play Mahjong, Maibara-kun? Oh, he knows how to play, doesn't he? He's a pretty good player, too. Perhaps we really should start playing Mahjong in our club now. We should go and crush every Mahjong parlor in the city. Oishi thinks I'm an experienced player since I was practicing Tsubame Gaishi the other day. Why do people misunderstand me all the time? By the way, Maibara-kun, I heard about that case. What case? About what you're planning to do tomorrow evening? A few of my staff members and I are going to be there as well. Takano-san and Tomitake-san are coming too. We can't bring that many people, but I hope you'll let us join you. That's so nice of you. Thank you so much. Every person counts. Irie, I'm sorry that we can't do much to help her, but we still want to do something. This is what Takano-san suggested. Takano? Yes. She wanted to help somehow. She feels bad that she wasn't able to assist you the other day. Oh, are you talking about that rumor? The one saying that Maibara-san's become the leader of a protest group or something? Even you know about it? You know about Satoko? Of course he does. He's very sensitive to rumors inside the village. Nah, it's only my job. I'm very aware of what's going on with Satoko-san. Oishi-san, what do you think about her case? Oishi-san is, after all, a police officer. Could he maybe have an option other than going to the Child Consultation Center? I also think that going to the Consultation Center is the smartest thing to do. Then, you're also saying there's no way to save her before something happens? We would probably do the same. We'd meet with him and tell him not to harm her. I'm sure a professional social worker can do a better job than that, though. They take care of these abuse issues better than the police can. The police only take action after something happens, but the Child Consultation Center can make a move before it does. Nah, it'd be a lot easier for us if we could arrest criminals before they commit crimes. However, we need to be very careful with whom we arrest, you know? We don't want to lose our jobs. In that sense, there's nothing wrong with them saying that they want to wait and see for a while. Me. Well, I don't think the Child Consultation Center is being unreasonable. However, it must seem terrible from the point of view of those who know Satoko-san and Teppei-san. Ishii-san was exactly right. They must be assuming that we're overreacting by making such a big fuss. It's only been a couple of days since he took her away. But that mindset can create huge problems. I'm sure they're going to call him tonight because we told them that she's been missing from school for 3 days. They'll ask him why she hasn't gone to school. Teppei might beat her up for that. I don't know. However, if he continues to keep her at home after the phone call, the Child Consultation Center will probably make a move. I think they'll talk to him about it. So she might come to school tomorrow? That's possible. Teppei can't stay in Okonomiya for some reason. That's why he needs to stay at Satoko's house. I'm sure he doesn't want any further trouble. He can't stay in Okonomiya for some reason? No, that's right, for some reason. I heard that he had some kind of money-related trouble. You don't know about that, Sonozaki-san? I had no idea. I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean, Mion? There's a reason he wants to stay in Satoko's house? Well, yeah. Teppei has money issues, so he can't live in Okonomiya anymore. He's hiding out in Hinamizawa until the trouble brews over. Then he should hide somewhere alone. Why would he try and drag Satoko-chan into this? You want Satoko as your maid, right? It's the same thing. No, that's not right. Maids are about love. There is love behind my desires. I'm totally against violence. A master should treat his maid with love. Let's just ignore that pervert for a moment. So, Oishi-san, you think there's no choice but to let the Child Consultation Center take care of it? I think that's the most realistic plan. There are certain steps that you need to follow. When you take a piss, you go to the toilet and pull down your zipper. If you don't follow those steps, it ends in disaster. That's a gross way to put it. You disgusting old man. No, I'm sorry I can't help you. But I do find Satoko's case unfortunate. I hope that everyone gets to have a happy ending. The Child Consultation Center is going to make their decision regardless, but what you guys are doing isn't against the law either. What you're doing, Maibara-kun, is not a mistake. Don't give up. Do all you can do. I'll support you too. Thank you very much. We went there yesterday and today, and we're going to go there tomorrow too. I believe we can save her as long as we don't give up. 3 days in a row, huh? I heard you took 20 people with you today. Are you going to take that many tomorrow too? Kei-chan is really talented when it comes to stuff like this. You'll be surprised. There's going to be 60 people tomorrow. My, that's amazing. I could see you becoming an active labor union leader when you grow up. The head of our union is pretty deplorable. Nah. At that moment, I heard someone clapping. It was almost 9 p.m. The meeting was over. Everyone returned to their seats and listened to each section head's report on what they discussed. You're incredible, Keiichi. You know so many people from the village. There are even more people that I don't know. Are you sure? You were talking with so many of them. I really am impressed. They're such nice people. Maybe I should be more involved with them too. You should. Hinamizawa is all about helping each other. I know you're busy with your work, but you should be involved as much as you can. I'm going to talk with your mother about that, I think. That's it for the meeting today. The next meeting is... tomorrow. I'll see you all then. It'll be the last major meeting before the festival. Thank you for coming today. Chairman, will you give us some closing remarks? No, it's fine. Let's just go home and get some drinks. That's it for now. Let's meet tomorrow at the same time. Thank you. Everyone laughed at Mayor Kimiyoshi's closing remarks. We finished cleaning up, and everyone began filing out of the building. Even though it was a weekday, some of them were going out for drinks. They asked my dad to go along with them. My dad isn't an ordinary worker. He can sleep in if he wants to, as long as he makes his deadlines. Keiichi, They want me to come for a drink, so I'm going, okay? Sure, have fun. I'm heading home now. Going home alone was kind of sad, so I thought I'd walk home with Mion, but she was still lingering at the meeting talking with the mayor and other important people. She was probably busy, with the festival being so near. As I contemplated whether to wait for her or not, Oishi-san came up to me. Good job at the meeting. How did you get here? I can give you a ride home if you want. I came here on my bike. Plus, I'm waiting for Mion. I see. You'll be waiting a while, though. They're discussing the trouble they had with the refreshment booth team. Trouble with the refreshment booth team? It seems like such a fun festival, but they still have some issues, huh? Oh, yes. It's hard to make adjustments this late. Shaved ice and yakisoba are always popular, so everyone wants to do those. But it'd be a problem if all the booths sold yakisoba, right? They need to make those kind of adjustments so there will be a variety of booths, but people get upset when they have to run a booth that's not going to make much money, no? They suggest running the booths in rotation every year, but some people don't have enough staff to do certain kinds of booths, and other people claim that their yakisoba is better than everyone else's. They also fight about locations and who to hire, etc., etc. I had no idea that the preparations for a festival were so complicated. Everything needs adjustments. I guess it sounds like boring adult talk for a young man like yourself. But adjustments are necessary to make things go smoothly. What you're doing at the Child Consultation Center is a secret adjustment in a way. Satsuko-san and Teppei-san don't even know about it. Ugh, I guess you might be right. But we have no choice but to raise our voices. That's the only option we've got. No, I'm proud to see you do something like this. If I was your age, all I'd be able to think of is attacking him in the dark. Man. Oishi must have had no other plans. He stuck around while I waited for Mion. There was no one else around at that time of night. It would have felt pretty lonely if he hadn't been there with me. I'm glad Oishi stayed to chat. We talked about Mahjong for a while. Its theory, techniques, and history. I rarely talked with a guy his age, so it was very interesting for me. It's nice to interact with people from a different generation sometimes. He's also a police officer. I was secretly hoping he'd give me a hint about how to save Satsuko. In any case, I had to wonder what was taking Mion so long. By the time Oishi-san finished his second cigarette, I started to think that maybe I should just go home for the night. I think I'm going to head home. Mion is taking too long. I have something big to take care of after school tomorrow. Going to the Child Consultation Center, you mean? Yes. I'm going to fight until they come up with a plan to save Satsuko. Consistency is important. This is all we can do. Oishi-san smiled upon hearing my passionate words. I bet the Child Consultation Center understands your point by now. You know, there's a limit to what you can do. It's important to know when to quit. If you go too far, it will only make things more complicated. But I just can't just let Satsuko suffer. Of course you can't. I'm sure that the Child Consultation Center won't leave her be either. They will help her. They might help her, but probably only after she gets hurt. If Satsuko suffers irreversible mental trauma, it'll be too late. Oishi took out his third cigarette. That meant he was going to stay here until he finished it. I didn't feel like waiting here with him, though. I just wanted to go home and relax so I could prepare for tomorrow. I'm going home now. You know, Maibara-san, there's something I wanted to tell you. The tone of his voice had changed slightly. Whatever it was, it sounded important. I stopped and turned back around to face him. Actually, you see, I don't think you should go to the Child Consultation Center tomorrow. You've made your point already. But we need to do this so we can save Satsuko. They aren't getting how urgent the situation is. We have to make even more of a fuss if that's what it takes for them to understand. I think we'll make a bigger impact if we go there 3 days in a row. You're trying to show them every courtesy, huh? No. But you know, Maibara-san, sometimes you should just let sleeping dogs lie. What? Let me make this clear. This isn't a warning from the police, and no one told me to tell you this. I'm just giving you advice, as your mahjong friend. The word advice didn't sound pleasant at all. I felt myself frowning involuntarily. Do you know what the Child Consultation Center is thinking? You guys showed up 2 days in a row, and you brought 20 people with you today. They're afraid you'll show up again tomorrow. Then why don't they just listen to us? I hope they're not planning to build a barricade so we can't get in the building tomorrow. No, they won't do that. Their job is to listen to these claims. They'll accept anyone who's come to make an appeal. They can't stop you from coming, no matter how many times you show up. They know that too. So you need to take care of the matter before you bring even more people and cause even more trouble. You mean, have they already made the decision to save Satoko? Not quite. They've started making secret adjustments, so you can't come by to pressure them anymore. What do you mean? They made a secret adjustment so that I couldn't bother them anymore? I felt confused, and then Oishi-san said something that almost sounded like a line from a political drama. These officials sometimes act a bit like the Yakuza. They don't want their badge disrespected. It's normal for them to ignore opinions opposing the decisions they've made, even if they realize their office is in the wrong. So if they listen to us, other people will come to the office to get their cases taken care of? That's exactly it. They don't want people challenging their decisions. They will listen to your appeal, but they'll never change their stance unless there's something odd going on. Plus, this time, Satoko-san's case is nothing special or noteworthy to them. He may have taken her away from where she lived, but it's a legal act, since he has parental rights. It's not like a parent without custody forcing his child to live with them. After all, he's the only blood relative she has. There's nothing, legally speaking, that prevents them from living together. That's not the case with Satoko and her uncle. You know that too. You know how violently he abused her last year. That was last year. The Child Consultation Center can't do anything about it if he tells them that he feels remorse over what happened then. And more than anything, Satoko-san told them that he's not abusing her. That's because last year Satoko relied on her brother, and she deeply regrets overburdening him. So as far as she's concerned, seeking help feels like she's betraying her brother. I see. It might be very difficult to persuade the Child Consultation Center in that case. Well, anyway, for reasons like that, the center can't understand why you and your group is pressing this issue so hard. We're just trying to let them know that Teppei is a violent person, and that we can't let Satoko stay with him. But why? You weren't here in Hinamizawa last year. I don't think you know much about Teppei-san. Why are you so sure that he's that dangerous? That was a hard question to answer. He was right. I didn't know much about Teppei. I'd never even seen his face. But I just know. Way back in a different world, I didn't save Satoko. I just stood by, and I've seen the world where Satoko is irreversibly broken. We all cried and regretted it. I couldn't explain that to Oishi, though. My friends had understood my premonition, but it's weird for someone to be so aggressive just based on what he saw in his imagination. I mentioned it earlier, but sometimes a divorced couple battles for the custody of their child. The couple can sue each other, and sometimes their relatives sue the couple too. Some of them decide to sue their partner not for the child, but just because they hate them. This case is a bit similar to something like that. It looks as though you're taking the actions you are because you hate Teppei Hojo. The Child Consultation Center needs to determine if you're doing this out of hate or out of genuine concern towards Satoko-san. Not all people go to the center out of goodwill like you. They can only make a decision after carefully determining if the information given by the petitioner is genuine or not. You need to understand that. So you're saying that because I was too direct with them, they've mistaken my appeal as one born of ill will? No, you don't have to worry about that. Just please try to understand that they have to evaluate it carefully. If they put a child under protection every time they got a report, the nation would careen out of control. That's right. I think there was a passage in the civil law book the center showed us that first day. The family or the prosecutor must make an appeal to the family court. Family issues have to be resolved within the family. An outside appeal might move the center to take action, but an outsider can't tell them how to respond. And when it comes to that, Satoko's only family is her uncle. Since her uncle obviously wasn't going to do anything about this, Satoko would have to seek help on her own. But Satoko is denying that she's being abused at all. This isn't going anywhere. The consultation center is simply hoping that you'll give up. They have other cases that need more urgent attention, but they're not sure yet if they should ask you to give up. That's why I wanted to tell you today. What do you mean? I don't get it. Maibai-san, when you visited them today, did they treat you better than yesterday? Yeah, a bit. We were taken to a bigger room, and the manager came to see us too. You might think that the manager is ranked just a little above the regular staff members. However, his position is as high as that of a section chief in a regular company. It's very difficult to achieve that position. The person you talked to today is actually a very powerful man, more than you could imagine. It's not normal for them to do that. The manager normally never shows up for a consultation. You need to recognize that the treatment you got today was a very special one. It never seemed that special to me. I thought we were taken to a big room because we went there with more people. And Rena told them to adjust to us. Because you were so well organized, they're suspecting that you're not the actual leader, and that the Sonozaki family are the ones behind this movement. I'm sure you know how powerful the Sonozaki family is in this village. I do, but it has nothing to do with the Sonozaki family. We're simply fighting to save our friend. Mion hasn't even mentioned her name. That's what the Child Consultation Center wanted to know. It's their normal routine to politely refuse a huge crowd of petitioners. However, things would be different if this was Oryo Sonozaki's-san's idea. Oryo-san holds great sway in the city's government. No one can go against her wishes. I'm aware that Mion's grandmother is very powerful, but that has nothing to do with this. In order to make that clear, the local government officials have approached the Sonozaki family in secret. They met Oryo-san and asked her about this case. They were going to take action if they found out that it was her idea, but they soon discovered otherwise. So, they're not going to take any action anymore? It's not just that. Oryo-san is now aware that there's a commotion going on within the village. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but some people in the village still hold a grudge against the Hojo family, the traitors of the damn conflict. Ever since the curse of the Oyashiro-sama, the Sonozaki family has been telling people not to interact with the Hojo family. You might wake up to a sleeping dog if you continue to make all this noise. You might wake up a sleeping dog. What happens if I wake the dog up? I don't know. Oishi paused for a while and drew on his short cigarette. I'm not saying that you'll be threatened or that they will hurt you. However, you just moved here and you're starting to get to know people from the village. But soon enough, you might get to see the underside of this place. The issues between the Hojo family and the Sonozaki family. Well, village-wide matters have been slightly taboo in our group, but we may have to go down that road now. It's a fact that we haven't gotten any support from adults, except for the school teachers in Irie. Other adults in the village must know what happened between Satoko and Teppei last year. They all understand that it would be a disaster if we don't rescue Satoko as soon as possible. However, no adult came forward to help us. If we continue our movement, will the people who hate the Hojo family become our enemies too? That's possible. The Sonozaki family may get involved if you continue this commotion. You could say that the Sonozaki family is anti-Hojo. If you try to save Satoko-san using people from Hinamizawa, that shows huge disrespect towards the Sonozaki family. It could create a huge problem. By that point, I knew. This was a warning, not just advice. An ignorant young man in Hinamizawa is making noise, trying to wake up a sleeping dog. I know you've taken a liking to this place, and that you're really doing your best here. That's why I thought I should let you know about this. I'm sorry if I upset you. I love Hinamizawa. I've made a decision to make this place my home. I'm motivated about the big job I got for the festival, too. Would it really be wise for me to try and create all this trouble? I'm just speaking as your friend, nothing more. I'm not trying to threaten you or anything like that. I'm not trying to make you do anything you don't want to. I just wanted to give you this information. Oishi smiled at me, then stomped on his cigarette. I thought I had just made the decision to do what was right. But that was only the stupid idea of an arrogant, ignorant little boy. Did I need to grow up right now and think about this again? Dark clouds hung over my heart. But, wait a minute. Did that mean I didn't even have the courage to risk losing something? Was I not brave enough to save Satoko at all? I had to be the red fire. I couldn't give up, even if everybody else did. I had to fill other people up with righteous flames, just like I was. What's the matter? What a bold smile you're wearing right now. Thank you for the valuable advice, but I can't give up no matter what you tell me. I won't stop even if the whole world tells me to. Even if the whole world is against you. Huh? You're a stronger man than I thought. If the whole world is telling me that I'm making a mistake, I'll have to stop and reevaluate myself. However, I've already talked about Satoko's case with my friends over and over again. This isn't just my idea. I'm confident that our decision is the very best one to make. I agree with you, Maibara-san. Young people like you tend to make hasty and dangerous decisions. However, all of you are being very rational about this. You're making a democratic appeal. Just like Dr. Irie was saying, there's nothing wrong with your methods. I know. I'm positive that we're not making any mistakes. We're doing our best to save our friend. We're not going to give up just because we feel threatened. We are true comrades. I have faith in us, even if the rest of the world doesn't. That's what friendship is all about. You have a strong will. Not even my detectives are as strong as you. Oishi-san gave me a wicked grin of admiration. I could tell from that grin. He wasn't trying to pressure me at all. It was exactly the opposite of that. He had shared this information with me to confirm that I was ready to face this challenge. I didn't even have to consider whether his words were advice or a warning. Every man has many things he wants to keep believing in, even if others don't share that belief. Of course it's important to listen to advice with sincerity, but some beliefs you still can't turn away from. That's what being a man is all about. I also have a strong will, you know. About 5 years ago, a person who was like a brother to me was killed. He was murdered? The case was declared solved, but I'm continuing an investigation alone, because I suspect there's another person in control behind the scenes. The department told me that I was wasting my time. They told me to stop. But just like you, I can't give up. Are you getting close to finding out who did it? I don't know about that. No. Anyway, if your resolve is that strong, then there's nothing for you to fear. Just follow through on your beliefs. I'm often threatened to show more restraint if I want to keep my full retirement pay to myself, but I've never given in. There's a lot of things we men can't convey without being unwavering. My, exactly right. We can't give up no matter how risky it will be. It's important to pursue your goal. And even if you end up playing into their hand, that's what being a man is about. If you're going down, then go down fighting. You're right. Waffling between whether to go or go back isn't the attitude of a real man. It's how a man should be. We bumped our fists together, reaffirming that real men are the same regardless of their generation. It wouldn't be a simple road to saving Satoko, but I was never going to give up. I was going to save her. I had no doubts about that. Oh, got some tips. The receptionist note, sending the brat back. Ooh. If there's one thing he's better at than anyone, it's this, the magician of words. Alright, let's see this note. Please hold on a moment, I'll get her. Oryu-san, someone from the municipal government is calling. Ah, hello? Hello, Sonozaki-san. This is Ida from the municipal government. Thank you very much for the ohagi the other day. You're quite welcome. Thank you for your work at the cultural festival. Also for providing that large parasol. How much does that thing cost? We use it every year, so we might as well buy one ourselves. We borrowed that one from the teacher. I checked out the price, but the domestically made ones cost about 200,000 yen. I also found one made in China. It's less than half the price. I don't care if it's made in China or not. Just get one so we don't have to cause any more trouble for the teachers. We're actually ordering it already. Once it arrives, you might want to take a look at it and make a final decision. Also, we've been holding the same Edo-style tea ceremony for the past 3 years. We should probably get an instructor from a different style. Can you look for a new instructor for next year? Oh, I see. Will do, ma'am. We'll find a different tea ceremony instructor. About that, advisor. I had something else to ask you about. And here's me going on about a parasol. So, what do you need? We were wondering if you heard anything about the case of Satoko Hojo-san in Hinamizawa. Satoko Hojo? Huh? You're talking about that blasted Hojo girl? What did she do? Well, she's recently moved in with her uncle. But she's being abused, apparently. Have you heard anything about it? Her uncle? Satsuko's being abused? I've never heard of anything like that. Oh, well, if you don't know, that's okay. To tell you the truth, someone from Hinamizawa came to petition to the Child Consultation Center. According to the center, that petitioner was very persistent. The manager felt that it was better to talk with you, if you already knew about it. I don't know anything. I don't care. Why would I do anything for that pitiful child? The Sonozaki family has nothing to do with this. Have you heard anything about it from the town council? No. What are you saying? If Kumiyoshi was helping that blasted Hojo child, then the Sonozaki family would know about it. Who was petitioning the Child Consultation Center? I heard some of her classmates were there. Well, as far as I know anyway. I guess it's just something that her classmates are doing, and the village has nothing to do with it. Of course not. I don't know anything. The village has nothing to do with Satsuko. The contents of this conversation were forwarded to the Child Consultation Center. If Oryo wasn't behind the commotion, then they had no need to take the case seriously. The manager told his staff to listen to what the petitioners have to say, but to never say anything promising the girl's safety. Keiichi Maibara-kun, huh? I guess a boy like that will grow up to be a political advocate in the future. Not the brat. It had been 3 days since he told her to stay home. He got another call from that annoying teacher again, so he yelled at her and hung up the phone. That woman is too persistent, Teppei thought. She won't give up that easily. He was sure that she'd call the Child Consultation Center again. The biggest reason why Teppei refused to let Satsuko go to school was his fear that she'd seek help when going there. She pretended like nothing was wrong when the social worker from the Child Consultation Center showed up, but that was only because he was right beside her. She'd probably betray him as soon as she got her chance. Then the consultation center would show up immediately. No, maybe even the police would come and get him for assaulting Satsuko. One of his friends had told him that the consultation center works with the police sometimes. Teppei had a lot of weight on his shoulders. If the police came, they'd end up questioning him about the other trouble he was involved in. He couldn't let that happen. All he needed was the money. Teppei could leave this awful village behind as soon as he found his brother's bank book. Gotta remove the cat. Be right back. Teppei usually stayed at home, as he found the way the other villagers looked at him unpleasant. So when playing Mahjong with his friends, he played it at Satsuko's house. But Mahjong requires at least 4 people. When Teppei couldn't get that many people to come over, he just stayed home alone and watched TV instead. He started using this ample free time to sniff around the house for his treasure. Satsuko would end up cleaning the mess he made. Besides, it wasn't his home anyway. What did it matter to him how much furniture he broke? He cleared out the closet and went up to the attic. He also pulled out all the chests and searched them thoroughly. His wife had been a pretty clever woman. She must have hid it somewhere very unusual. He messed up the whole first floor and went up to the second floor to search some more. The next moment, Satsuko went and tried to tackle him. Not Nini's room. What the hell? No, you can't go inside Nini's room. Teppei immediately assumed that she was hiding the bank book in there. He threw her off and forced his way inside the room. However, Satsuko tried to stop him with all of her might. It was amusing for Teppei to see Satsuko resisting him to that extent, but it also surprised him a little. He asked her why she didn't want him to go into Satsushi's room. That room belongs to Nini. Nini will be hurt if he comes home and sees his room destroyed. You don't want me there just because it's your brother's room? You don't even know if he's still alive. Nini is alive. He will come back home. Wah! Don't destroy his room. What are you saying? I'm not going to destroy the room. I'm just trying to clean it up. Why would you have to save this room for someone who's not here anymore? I need to clean it up. No! No, you can't! Wah! Wah! Nini! Nini! Wah! The hell? You really don't want me to go inside, huh? Satsuko's crazed behavior convinced him that he should stop provoking her for the moment. While Teppei was very talented at threatening people, despair makes cowards courageous. If he ignored Satsuko and tore apart the room, she might just run away. He didn't want Satsuko to be nearby, but he also couldn't let her run loose. Fine then. If you promise to be a good girl, I won't go inside this room. Alright? Got it? Yes. Yes. But if you make me mad, I'm going to rip this room apart. If you escape from this house or tell people about what's happening, everything in there is going to end up in the garbage. Get it? Yes. Yes. Thank you for giving me a chance. Teppei was sure the bank book was inside Satoshi's room, but Satsuko would lose it if he went inside. He wasn't pleased about the promise he made with her, but at least it would keep Satsuko under control. It might not hurt him to send her off to school. If he kept her home again tomorrow, that teacher might come to the house with the police in tow. He was only keeping her at home because he was afraid that Satsuko would talk to other people. If she wasn't going to do that, it'd be better for him to send her to school. He could sneak into Satoshi's room while she was out. Satsuko, you've been a good girl, so I guess your cold is all better now. Go back to school tomorrow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. He was the one who told her to say thank you when he gives her approval to do something. But it annoyed him to hear her say it over and over. Get out of my sight, you little brat. Yeah. You're so annoying. I just want to check. What chapter are we on exactly? How do I check this? This stuff? There it is. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow. And there's 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. Good. Still got a while to go. Gonna try to keep going for another half hour, but my throat's starting to hurt. The Child Consultation Center had finally contacted Satsuko's uncle, after finding out she was missing from school for 3 days in a row. I'm sure it was because of our efforts that Satsuko was able to come to school today. However, we couldn't really celebrate after seeing her painful expression. Satsuko, we were so worried about you. Are you sure nothing happened to you these past 3 days? I really did have a fever the whole time. I'm sorry for making you all worry. She started telling us why she hadn't been at school. Nobody had even asked her that. Her uncle must have told her to say that to everyone. It's so painful to see her like this. Rena seemed more angry than sad. Inside, I felt the same way. It felt like my anger was boiling up and lodging painfully in my throat. He was only letting Satsuko come to school because he was now certain that she wouldn't do anything that would put him at a disadvantage. He was treating her like a tamed animal. Was it too late already? I thought of the broken Satsuko I once saw in my imaginary world. Satsuko, do your best, okay? Of course I will. I'm doing well, even though Nini isn't here with me. I slowly reached out my hand toward her head. As a reward for you doing your best, I'll pat your head. Do you mind? She didn't reply, but she didn't refuse either. I slowly put my hand on her head. She didn't react to it, but a tear rolled down from her eye all of a sudden. Was she crying because she didn't want to be touched? No, that wasn't it. Rather, it was the opposite. If I stopped patting her head, I'd hurt her feelings. Satoko felt obligated to survive without her Nini. But that didn't mean she didn't want anyone else's help. She couldn't appreciate my patting her head openly. Satoko had no choice but to cry in silence. Satoko-chan, we won't tell anyone if you cry right now. And after Rena said that, Satoko started crying like a baby. I felt relieved, knowing that it wasn't too late. She hadn't yet suffered from the fatal emotional wound that I saw in my imaginary world. However, her tears made it clear that I needed to save her as soon as possible, no matter what the whole world might say to me. Satoko, everyone is going to help save you. I promise you that. Satoko, we weren't just doing nothing for these past 3 days. Right, Kei-chan? Right. We're making an appeal to the Child Consultation Center. We're asking them to save you from your horrible uncle. You don't have to do that for me. It's not just us. Right, Tomoe-kun? It's not just me either. Okumura and the whole class are fighting for you. That's right. We all went to the Child Consultation Center together. We're going today, too. Right, Murata-san? Yep. We're not going to give up until we save you. All the boys and girls in the class answered my call with their cheers. Satoko seemed a little surprised, but then soon became expressionless again. Is that why the social worker came to my house? That really wasn't necessary of you. Satoko, did he hurt you because of that? She wouldn't answer. I couldn't tell what that silence really meant. Soon after, Chie-sensei entered the classroom. She must have heard the noise we were making. Hojo-san, are you feeling better now? We didn't know for sure if she was really sick or not. All of us, including Chie-sensei, were feeling the same thing. Yes, I'm fine. I'm sorry for worrying you. Everything is all right now. Will you be attending school regularly from now on? Yes. You don't have to continue worrying about me. You don't have to talk to any more social workers. Hojo-san, if you feel overwhelmed, you can come stay with me. I'm on your side, okay? You're welcome at my house anytime. Hey, Chie-sensei, don't act like you're the only one who can help her. Satoko, we're all on your side here. That's right. You can come to my apartment, too. We have an extra room, so you can use it as your own. She can't do that. Satoko is my pet. She has to come back to my house. Nippon. See? You're not alone. Everyone is trying so hard to save you. But I don't know if people at the Child Consultation Center will ever understand how we feel. If what Oishi-san told me yesterday was true, then once they learn this isn't the will of all Hinamizawa, once they learn it's only her classmates creating a stir, they might harden their stance against us. All we had planned was to go there with more people and ask for the same thing. The Child Consultation Center was going to say the same thing to us, too. It wasn't going to be any different from yesterday. They tell us that it's only normal for her uncle to take care of Satoko, because he's legally her guardian. They'd also tell us that there's no proof of any abuse happening. And why do they think that? Because Satoko won't admit she's being abused. I appreciate your kindness, but I'm fine. That's a lie. Rena spoke with a smile, but her words cut sharp. You're not okay, Satoko-chan. You're not fooling us well enough. All of us here, and many more people, know that you are in pain right now. That's why we're doing our best to stand up and help you. We're reaching out our hands so we can save you from your struggle. But we can't save you without you helping too. She's right, Satoko. No matter what we say to the center, they'll tell us that there's no abuse because you're denying that it's happening. We all want to help you, but we can't if you don't accept our help. I understand. I was just like you once. I thought no one could help me. I thought whatever I was doing was the only thing I could do. That's why I didn't even accept my friend's help. But someone taught me something. I can't even remember who it was. But someone taught me something. The world you want most is right in front of you. But you won't get there unless you take our hands. It doesn't mean anything if we're the only ones reaching out. Satsuko-chan, you have to reach your hand to us too. We can take each other's hands and return to the world we wish for. Rena, who told you that? I don't remember. I think I heard it before I went to kindergarten. I can't remember who told me that. But I can still clearly remember that feeling. I'm here because of what that person taught me. I agree. Whoever it was who taught that to Rena, he wasn't wrong. Satsuko, do you think it's better not to ask for help? You think that's the best thing you can do? But you're wrong about that. Look at yourself in the mirror. Is that the face you want to wear? I'm sure it's not. You don't want any part of this world. We can bring you back to the world you want to live in. We're reaching our hands out. Those hands are almost touching you. But we just can't reach far enough. If we could, we'd pull you by the hair to get you out of this mess. But we can't make it. So you have to reach out your hand too. Our hands are right here. They're right in front of your nose. So take them. If you just reach out your hand, we could pull you into a happier world. Satsuko wouldn't reach out her hand. She just stared at mine as though praying for something. Her fingers were shaking, but Satsuko wouldn't try to reach her hand toward mine. I felt like screaming out in anger, but I didn't want to scare her. If I did that, she'd never trust me again. All I could do was to wait for her to reach out her hand. Thank you very much. Really, I do appreciate it. But I really am perfectly fine. I really... Satsuko. She needs more time. Satsuko needed time to sort out her feelings, but her time limit was getting closer and closer. It was unfortunate that Satsuko didn't even realize that herself. The next moment, we heard someone approaching our classroom. By the sound of the footsteps, we could tell that it was the principal. And so, I couldn't tell why Satsuko was twitching like she just got electrocuted. The door quickly opened, and the principal strode inside. He seemed relieved to see Satsuko back in school. However, Satsuko reacted both dramatically and bizarrely. She let out an inexplicable scream, ran to the back of the classroom, and hid behind the curtain. No one in the classroom could understand her actions. We never even considered that it was because the principal had entered the room. The principal, however, realized it immediately. Satsuko was scared to see him. Hojo-kun, is everything all right? He spoke in a kind voice, but Satsuko was still afraid. It was plain as day to all of us that Satsuko was frightened at the sight of the principal, but none of us could understand why. Are you okay, Satsuko? You don't need to be afraid. We're all on your side. My uncle is here. Everyone here thought for sure that Satsuko's uncle had shown up to get her. We all rose up at once, shielded Satsuko in a circle, and searched the surroundings. I had yet to see her uncle's face, but we were in school now. If someone unfamiliar showed up, I could spot him immediately. If he tried to force Satsuko to leave, then forget everything else. I'd end the fight right here. Mion and Shion are thinking the same thing. However, while Satsuko remained frightened, we couldn't find any sight of her uncle. Satsuko was trembling as if he was already here inside our classroom, but there was no sight of him. Finally, I realized the truth. Satsuko was frightened by the figure of the principal. I could understand that she'd be scared of his footsteps, but she was still terrified after he showed his face. This was not normal. It was made clear to me how much stress Satsuko was dealing with. Rika-chan hushed Satsuko and whispered into her ear. It's okay. Your uncle isn't here. Your mean uncle isn't here. But he's right there. My uncle is there. He's come to take me back home. Calm down, Satsuko. Did you take your shot today? My uncle is here. Wah! Wah! Nee! Nee! Her shot? What are you talking about, Rika-chan? Keiichi, she needs Irie's help. Just tell him that Satsuko is in an emergency. Hurry up! Chie, let's take her to the nurse's office. What's wrong, Satsuko-chan? Satsuko-chan, let's call the coach. She needs to see a doctor. Does anyone have his number? I do. Let's go use the phone in the teacher's office. I headed to the nurse's office after I asked Mion to make a phone call to the doctor. There were lots of students surrounding the office. Chie-sensei was forcing out the other kids who had entered the room with them. I snuck behind her and entered it myself. Satsuko was lying down on the bed, still shaking with fear. Rena and Rika-chan were there with her, and were trying to calm her down. I spoke quietly so as to not scare Satsuko. Is she okay? What's going on with her? I don't really know, but she's very scared. She thought the principal was her uncle. Hearing that made it easier to understand, but it was still hard to believe. He had been right in front of us, and had spoken to her in such a kind voice. It was really hard to believe that she couldn't tell that it was the principal. When there's a dark spot on the wall, what does it look like to you? What? People who hate flies will think it's a fly. It may look like a spider or a cockroach if that's what you hate. People tend to sense something they don't like when they can't really tell what that something is. She thought of her uncle. When she heard the principal's footsteps? But she was still scared even after he showed up. The illness Satsuko has prevents her from correcting those misassumptions easily. What does she mean, illness? I tried to ask Rika-chan that, but Satsuko was becoming even more frightened. Rika-chan held her hand gently and tried to calm her down. Rena tapped my shoulder. She was indicating to me that we should leave Rika-chan and Satsuko alone in the room. I agreed with her. Satsuko was in tremendous shock. We're going back to the classroom for now. Yes, please do. Ren and I left the nurse's office. My classmates were still asking Chie-sensei about Satsuko's condition. As soon as they saw me, they walked over and asked how she was. Let's leave it up to Rika-chan for now. Satsuko is very frightened. Please don't do anything to make her afraid. She will only get more scared if we continue to make this much noise. Let's go back to the classroom. Coach will be here soon, and he'll take care of her. You called him, right, Mi-chan? Yeah. He'll be here right away. He said to let Rika-chan take care of her, and not to let her out of the nurse's office. Get back to the class, everyone. We're going to start homeroom. While the teacher took our attendance, a car arrived on the school premises. Everyone's attention was drawn to it. 3 people with white gowns came out of the vehicle. Irie ran into the school in a hurry. We were surprised to see 3 people show up. It made us all worry that Satsuko was in worse shape than we'd realized. Chie-sensei felt the same way. She left the class to Mion and hurried to the nurse's office. Despite our worries, Satsuko returned to the classroom about 10 minutes later. She was still as suppressed as she was in the morning, but she was no longer in a state of panic. Satsuko, are you okay now? I think you should rest some more. I'm sorry for scaring you. I'm fine now. Satsuko-chan. Satsuko seemed bothered by the way we were worrying about her. Chie-sensei also returned to the classroom. At the same time, I snuck out so I could talk to Irie and his staff. I saw him talking with Rika-chan. Coach, is Satsuko really okay? Maibara-san. Yes, she's fine for now. We should keep an eye on her, though. It was just a little panic attack. She's all good now. Just a little panic attack. Are you sure? You were saying that Satsuko has some kind of illness. Well, I should be going. Please call me if anything else happens. Coach bowed and left without making any comment. It was like he was avoiding my question about Satsuko's condition. Keiichi, can you promise to keep a secret? What? Oh, sure. Satsuko's been sick since a few years ago. She's been getting treatment for that illness for a long time. It was surprising to hear that. That meant she was already sick when I first met her. I'd never seen any sign of that, though. That disease can't be cured easily. But she can live a normal life as long as she gets proper treatment and medication. I see. It sounds like it's under control. I had no idea that she was sick until you just told me about it. She should be fine, right? She was hardly in a good condition, so that makes me hesitant to use the word fine. What kind of disease could Satoko have? Based on what I saw earlier, she might have a mental illness rather than a physical one. It might be because of how she was abused in the past. I've heard that mental trauma is not easy to cure, and it needs medical attention at times. That must be what's going on with her. Satoko has to take 2 shots every day. Since her uncle was bullying her, she forgot to take her shot this morning. You mean, Satoko becomes emotionally unstable? If she doesn't take those shots? Riki-chan nodded quietly. Really, it was quite a shock. The Satoko I know is an energetic and mischievous girl who is always bouncing around like a Super Ball. I couldn't believe that she'd turn into a scared little animal just by forgetting to take a shot. She becomes very afraid when she doesn't get her shots. When something happens suddenly, or when she hears a strange noise, or sees something unusual, she feels like there are things that are coming to harm her. So, she thought her uncle came to the school when she heard the principal's footsteps. That's right. Once she's convinced herself that the footsteps belonged to her uncle, that became the truth for her. Even after she saw the principal's face, her mind told her that it was her uncle. You said she can't organize information quickly enough. Is that what her illness is all about? I don't even want to know what the disease is called. I feel so bad for her. I had no clue that she'd been fighting this condition for so long. That poor girl. Keiichi, please don't tell Satoko anything about her illness. Why not? I guess I shouldn't ask. It might not be a nice thing to talk to her about her mental illness. I guess that's what she's trying to tell me. She came back to the classroom, but is she okay now? Aria gave her an injection, so she's alright for now. She's seriously sick to the point where she requires the doctor's attention. I realized something in the next moment. Hey, maybe we can have her be hospitalized. We can force her to stay in the hospital even if she refuses. That way, we can save her from her uncle. Yes, that's a great idea. Irie suggested that before, but Satoko refused. It's not about her refusing or not. If the doctor tells her to stay. Keiichi, if Satoko doesn't go back home, her uncle is going to get rid of her Nini's room. What? Satoko feels obligated to protect the Hojo residents until Sachi comes home. He was taking advantage of her? Teppei was telling her that he'd get rid of Sachi's room if she didn't stay with him? That's horrible. Please don't tell anyone about this. She is not good at controlling her herself, so she might get very angry about this. She brought up Shion, but I was also furious about it. I had to calm down. I needed everyone's help in order to save Satoko. I couldn't ruin everything by acting foolishly. I had no time to stop. Damn it. If Satoko asked us for help, we could help her right away. Just because she hadn't asked didn't mean she didn't need it. As her friends, we had to help her. Especially after learning that he was controlling her by threatening to get rid of Sachi's room. She told you that he's threatening her, right? Can't we take that as an SOS? Riki-chan nodded slightly. Keiichi, we don't have much time left. That I was all too aware of. She had a panic attack just because she didn't take her shot this morning. But if she stayed in her current environment, it'd be too late to save her in a matter of days. I saw her future when I saw Satoko crying behind the curtain this morning. This is the 3rd day. We have 10 times more people on our side than we had on the first day. But we're not going to stop there. Keiichi, it won't be that easy to save Satoko. I've tried many times before, but never succeeded. Really? You don't remember. But you're different this time. I think you're getting very close to saving her. I believe that you're someone who can defeat fate. What did she mean when she said I didn't remember? I didn't have time to ask questions, though. Yeah, you're right. I'll defeat fate. Just watch me. Oh, end of school. Off to the consultation center. A huge crowd had formed in front of the library. It was hard to believe that over 50 people had assembled in front of such a quiet place. Okay, things are getting interesting today. That's my boss. He's our leader today. Yo, glad to meet you. Kameda-kun had brought a bunch of athletes with him. They were all very tall and full of spirit. Being greeted by a bunch of big people at once made me feel uncomfortable. Whoops, I shouldn't feel so intimidated. The commander can't act bashful in front of his troops. Following after them were our nameless comrades who sympathized with our plight at Angel Mort yesterday. I hate to say it, but I never expected any of them to actually show up. Seeing them all here to support us made me feel glad. They seemed plenty pumped up too, raising up fervorous cries. Shrieks? Kameda-kun did so much for me. He brought not only his teammates, but also people from Angel Mort. I couldn't thank him enough. Don't worry, Kay. We're all brothers at Angel Mort. I heard from the people who went to the dessert fiesta today that the dessert named Innocent Blue Sundae is the best one. Let's eat it together this summer. Kage-kun, this is incredible. You gathered this many people by yourself? Hello. I never expected you to get this many people here. Good job. Tomitake-san, Takano-san, why are you two here? Oh, you didn't know? They told us they'd come at the meeting last night. The coach is supposed to be here too. Sorry I made you wait so long. I'm sorry for being so late. It took me a while to leave the clinic. Wow! Coach, that's amazing! It's amazing! Coach had brought some sashes, headbands, and banners with him. He was so well prepared. The sashes and headbands read Save Satogo Hojo, and the consultation center must take action immediately. They were perfect for our protests. He had brought lots of extras along too. Takano-san and Shion handed them out to other supporters. You know, Coach, I loathe that style of yours, but you've earned some respect today. You know, I really like these things. Not all 60 of us know each other, but when we all wear the same headbands, I start to feel a real sense of unity. It feels like I'm back at the dam conflict. The people of Hinamizawa were wearing headbands and sashes just like these. It was like they were invincible. No one could make them stop. Tomitake-san was exactly right. Even the kids from Okonomiya were willing to wear the headbands. It was like we were supporting a baseball team. Here, Rika-san. It took us a while to get all of these made. Here, I'll do everything I can. I'll do my very best to help us rescue Satogo-chan. Here, these are yours, Keiichi-kun. It felt like a field trip yesterday, but today it's totally different. Yeah, I agree. I figured showing up in greater numbers would intimidate them, but this has way more impact. Bluffs really are important after all. It's just about time. Call us to attention, Captain. Captain? I'm just the person who set this up. Keiichi-kun, you need to act more like a leader. Get up there and stand strong. I walked out in front of everyone while Tomitake-san took pictures. Everyone went quiet and turned their gaze to me. I felt so nervous, but at the same time, I also felt really thrilled to see all of our comrades here. Thanks for being here today, everyone. As you know, it's been 4 days since my classmate Satogo Hojo was taken by her uncle. How can he claim to be her legal guardian? He used to beat her, and he neglected her for a whole year so he could live with his lover in Okonomiya. The Child Consultation Center must urgently take care of this matter and save Satoko from him. However, they're putting her case on hold. They just don't understand how much of an emergency this is. Today, we're going to attempt our third appeal, so as to get them to save her as soon as possible. For those who saw Satoko-chan at school today, you should all know. She was at her wit's end after only 4 days. We can't leave her in that environment any longer. This is our third attempt. We have so many people on our side too. Let's let them know how important this is. We're not going to neglect our friend. Amazing. This really is the return of the dam conflict. Marbar-kun wasn't even living here when that happened. This is quite interesting. There must be something about this village that brings people together. That's just the culture here, I think. Something like this happening was inevitable. Inevitable. I come from a city where neighbors don't even know each other's faces. I'm a little jealous. That's a bit rich coming from someone who keeps complaining about the lack of trains. All units prepared for assault. Give us the order to lay our lives down today, Your Excellency. Press our demands. Rescue the target. Everyone, follow K's command. Yeah. Everyone had that much vigor before we'd even entered the building. They had to have heard what was going on outside. In fact, panicked-looking people were staring at us out the windows. Well, here goes nothing. Eri pushed me forward, and I took the first step of our third attempt, with the weight of 60 people on my shoulders. We went through the automatic doors, and slowly crossed 20 meters to the counter. How will they take this? First day it was just a counselor. Yesterday it was a manager. Think we'll get the guy in charge today? I don't know. But I'm sure they'll understand just how much we care about her. Hello. How may I help you today? Same as yesterday. We're here to appeal for immediate action on behalf of Satsuko Hojo. At the far end of the office, I saw the manager from yesterday talking to a guy sitting behind an important-looking desk. I could tell he was intimidated to see so many people. Shion said that this was the day we'd finally close the deal. I couldn't be that optimistic yet. To be honest, our current numbers were probably the maximum number of people that I could get. So what would we do if things didn't work out today? I put a brave front, but internally I was nearly cracking with the anxiety. But looking at the hopeful and encouraging expression on Rena's face as she walked beside me helped disperse those timid feelings. Rena might hold the very same worries inside of her heart. Everyone must be wondering if we can really save Satsuko or not. But today, we were supporting each other by hiding those worries. This was unmistakably our team's strong point. We could never have gathered so much energy and strength if we were alone. That power can only be created when people work together. It takes forever for a drop of water to wear away at one rock, but a tsunami can break it into pieces in a second. The manager approached the counter. He started speaking to me, saying that as the meeting room wasn't open today, he couldn't let us all into one room. However, the head of the office was willing to see us, so we could use the reception area in front of his desk. Since the room was so small, however, he asked us to choose 3 representatives to come inside. I'm truly sorry. We hope you'll understand this is out of concern for our visitors, and show that you're willing to cooperate. We were here with all these people, and they were only letting 3 of us inside? I wanted to refuse their offer, but Mion told me to take it. If we occupied the office with our numbers, they could fault us for obstructing their business. I think they're intimidated enough. The head of the office is willing to talk with you today. I think that's the best treatment you can get from them. They're all shaking like scaredy cats. Meow meow. Still, it's definitely a lie that the meeting room isn't available today. I think so too, but Michan is right. I think they're intimidated enough. The head of the office is the top of the whole organization. If he's willing to talk to us, we might have to compromise as well. If we refuse to see him, that will go on the record. We don't want them to be able to claim that we refused to talk to him. I think we should make it clear that we're here to have a conversation. It was good to get suggestions from so many different people. If it was only me, I would have just gotten pissed off and left. That was probably not the best idea. Once again, I felt how important it was that we were a team. I understand. 3 of us will go talk to him then. But who should it be? Keiichi-kun, you have to go. Other than you, I think Coach and Michan would be the best choice. If the head of the office recognizes me, they'll think that this is the Sonozaki family's doing. I can't let him think that, since my family has nothing to do with this case. I'm really sorry, but it's those adult circumstances again. Saving Satsuko is our fight. That old hag has nothing to do with this anyway. How about you, Renaissance? You should go and talk with them. I don't mind, but how about you, Rika-chan? Me? As Satsuko-chan's best friend, I think you should be a representative. Rika-chan is a quiet girl, so it'd be hard for them to understand what she's thinking. However, she's Satsuko's best friend. She had been living with her for the past year, as if they were family. She has the strongest bond with Sasuke out of any of us. Alright, Coach, Riki-chan, and me. We're going in. Roger. I'll get everyone under control. Mion winked at me and started explaining the situation to everyone else. Alright, I think this is the perfect point to stop then. Alright, we'll stop here. You have a good rest of your day, or morning, or night, of course. And we switch to Rika's POV as well. Alright. Next stream will be Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. I'm not sure what I'm playing at, but it'll be horror, of course. Bye-bye!